Hi, my name is Dan Mueller. I am the famous and perhaps infamous nephew of Aunt Joyce. I live in South Dakota. I was born the same year that my Aunt Joyce graduated from Tyndall High School in 1951. My mother, Evelyn, and Joyce were sisters. They had a close relationship and communicated by phone all the time. My mother passed away in 2002, and Aunt Joyce really missed her weekly phone calls with my mom. Of all the Grimme relation, I was perhaps closer to Aunt Joyce than anyone else. My family often traveled to California for vacations to visit Joyce and the family. And Joyce and her family would often come to South Dakota in the summer on vacations. They always stayed at my mom's house or at my house. Over the years, Aunt Joyce and I shared a lot. We talked about our personal successes, our hopes, and our dreams. We also shared the struggles, hurts, and failures in our life. We reminisced a lot about the past. I remember our fitful laughter sessions in which Joyce was unable to stop laughing to the point of tears. It was always great fun. When I visited California, she would always show me all of the critters in the backyard. Since you could never take the farming out of the farmer, there were always pigeons, doves, fish, and other critters that had to be fed and taken care of in the backyard. In addition, there were always a few cats to keep everyone company. Just like her mother, Anna, my grandmother, she loved plants and she liked to show them to me. This finally leads me to the story I'd like to share. About 10 years ago, when I was visiting Aunt Joyce in California, we decided to take a trip up to see her cabin in the mountains. Joyce had wanted some wildflowers and small seedlings to plant in her backyard. Of course, it is illegal to take any wildlife or plants from a national forest. And the trip to the cabin was through San Bernardino National Forest. During this trip, if we would see an interesting wildflower or little tree or sapling, we would pull over. We would check to see if anyone was coming from either direction. After all, what we were doing was illegal. But certainly the forest would not miss one tiny plant. We had canisters of dirt with us. I would get out and dig up the wildflower and replant it into the canister. We did this repeatedly on our way to and from the cabin. When we finally returned to Arcadia, we had all of these canisters of wild plants. The intention was to plant them somewhere in the yard. To be honest, I believe most of them ended up dying, and I flew back home before they ever got planted. But it was one of those fun things I remember that Joyce and I did together. We laughed and laughed about what we did that day until the tears flowed. That is one small story out of many that I have of my Aunt Joyce. Those were the good, fun times. I shall miss my aunt and our phone calls. Now that Aunt Joyce has crossed the bar, she and my mother can once again visit and talk as much as they did when they were both here on earth.